नमस्कार दोस्तों, वेलकम टू लाइफ एक्सप्रेस वेयर देयर इज नो ड्रामा, नो फेक, ओनली फैक्ट्स टू कीप यू अवेक। जी हाँ, सही सुना आपने। लाइफ एक्सप्रेस एक ऐसी दुनिया है, एक ऐसा एकेडमिक प्लेटफॉर्म है जहाँ हम बेमतलब की बातें नहीं करते, क्योंकि यहाँ बातें होती है सिर्फ रियल लाइफ के, रियल लोगों के, रियल अचीवमेंट्स की, और बातें होती है रियल नॉलेज की अंडर भारतीय ज्ञान परंपरा, जिसकी बुनियाद वसुधैव कुटुंबकम पर आधारित है। वसुधैव कुटुंबकम यानी द होल वर्ल्ड इज आवर फैमिली। भले ही वसुधैव कुटुंबकम और अतिथि देवो भव का पालन करते करते हिंदुस्तान को भारी नुकसान उठाना पड़ा, लेकिन आज हर भारतीय को ये कहते हुए काफ़ी गर्व होता है कि भारत एक ऐसा देश है जिसने आज तक ना ही किसी पे आक्रमण किया और ना ही किसी पे राज किया। हाँ, हमने पूरी दुनिया पे राज किया, लेकिन उनके अधिकार, अस्तित्व एवं संस्कृति को छीन कर नहीं, बल्कि उनके दिलों पर राज किया, अपनी प्राचीन सभ्यता एवं संस्कृति और फिलॉसफी की खुशबू बिखेर कर। इसी भारतीय परंपरा को आगे बढ़ाते हुए लाइफ एक्सप्रेस अपने मिशन पे आप सभी के सहयोग से आगे बढ़ रही है, जिसमें मेरा यही प्रयास है कि भारतीय संस्कृति एवं ज्ञान प्रणाली का समुचित अध्ययन कर उसके भाव को, उसमें निहित संदेश को आपके सामने, वर्ल्ड सोसाइटी के सामने प्रस्तुत करूं, क्योंकि आज पूरी दुनिया में एक नहीं कई कारणों से अनेक प्रकार के संकट के बादल मंडरा रहे हैं, खूनी युद्ध चल रहे हैं, परिवार में, समाज में, राष्ट्र में और पूरे विश्व में। पूरी दुनिया आज एक सोसाइटल मॉडल ऑफ लिविंग ढूंढ रही है, जिसे अपनाकर वो शांति और सौहार्द के साथ जी सके। लेकिन अफसोस, दुनिया के पास ऐसा कोई मॉडल नहीं है। लेकिन चिंता की कोई बात नहीं है, क्योंकि भारत के पास ऐसा सोसाइटल मॉडल ऑफ लिविंग है जिसे अपनाकर हम पूरे विश्व में शांति और उन्नति का मार्ग प्रशस्त कर सकते हैं। और उसी मॉडल को हम आज भारतीय ज्ञान परंपरा के रूप में देख रहे हैं। तो चलते हैं कार्यक्रम के अगले सेगमेंट हॉल ऑफ फेम की ओर, जहां हम मिलेंगे एक ऐसी शख्सियत से जो वाकई समाज के लिए एक रियल रोल मॉडल हैं, अपने उत्कृष्ट एवं सराहनीय कार्यों के चलते। लेकिन हम में से अधिकांश लोग उनकी उपलब्धि या अचीवमेंट से आज भी बेखबर हैं। नमस्कार दोस्तों, आज के हॉल ऑफ फेम में हमारे साथ एक बहुत ही खास मेहमान हैं, जिनके जीवन से जुड़े कई रोचक तथ्य हैं। इससे पहले कि हम उन रोचक तथ्यों को जाने उन्हीं की जुबानी, मैं चाहूंगा कि सबसे पहले मैं आपको अपने विशेष अतिथि का एक संक्षिप्त परिचय दे दूं। वैसे तो हमारे आज के विशेष अतिथि किसी परिचय या पहचान के मोहताज नहीं हैं, लेकिन औपचारिकता का निर्वहन करते हुए मुझे ये बताते हुए अपार हर्ष की अनुभूति हो रही है कि लाइफ एक्सप्रेस के इस हफ्ते के हॉल ऑफ फेम में हमारे साथ जो विशेष अतिथि ऑनलाइन जुड़े हैं, वे हैं एग्जीक्यूटिव डायरेक्टर ऑफ एबिलिटी फाउंडेशन मैडम डॉक्टर जयश्री रविंद्रन। बचपन से ही अपनी विलक्षण प्रतिभा एवं उत्कृष्ट कार्यों के बदौलत उन्होंने समाज में अपनी एक अलग पहचान बना ली थी। उन्होंने, यदि हम उनकी शैक्षणिक जीवन पर प्रकाश डालें, तो हम पाते हैं कि उन्होंने अपनी प्रारंभिक, माध्यमिक तथा उच्च शिक्षा अव्वल दर्जे से सफलतापूर्वक पूरी की. More importantly, after the completion of her degree in education, Dr. Jayshree was conferred her master and doctoral degree in English literature by the University of Madras, Chennai. Having served a successful professional career in several dignified positions like Professor of English at IIT Madras as well as IGNOU New Delhi, and serving different executive committees as their esteemed members and chairpersons, Dr. Jayshree opted for doing something bigger than what she was doing. And this is why she resigned from mainstream employment in May 1995 and established the Ability Foundation. For those who are not known to Ability Foundation, I can only say in brief that Ability Foundation is a national cross disability umbrella organization headquartered in Chennai that focuses on contributing to the empowerment, integration, inclusion, and rights of people with disabilities. The foundation is aimed at having an equitable society for every citizen with disability and acts as a bridge between the worlds of persons with and without disabilities. At a time when the country still perceived disability in the medical mode and charity mode, Dr. Jayshree, with her innovative vision and mission, spearheaded a movement to create an inclusive platform with access for everyone. And I should not forget to add that Dr. Jayshree has also been felicitated by several prestigious awards at national and international levels by premier organizations across the globe, including Government of India's National Award. More importantly, Dr. Jayshree is also involved in national policy on issues pertaining to disability. We all know that changing attitudes or swimming against tide is always a tedious task. But Dr. Jayshree took her Ability Foundation on a new journey to look beyond disabilities. For her, it is important that people with disabilities are seen as people first. And pleasure is solely mine in welcoming one and only the great icon of humanity, Dr. Jayshree Raveendran. Namaskar, ma'am.
Namas- Namaskar. Please don't call me Dr. Jayshree. I'm just Jayshree.
Fine, ma'am. So, first of all, on behalf of my entire Life Express team and on behalf of my intellectual viewers, I extend a very warm welcome and sincere gratitude to
Thank you.
you for your gracious presence
Thank
in
you
Life
so
Express.
much. I'm grateful you chose to have me too. It's a pleasure
Thank you.
being here.
Ma'am, having gone through your rich academic and professional profiles, I can say that you are more inclined to empathy than sympathy. And more importantly, you take any challenges head on with your firm determination, with your focus on cans rather than can'ts. So, to begin with, not only I, but all of our intellectual viewers would like to know about the driving forces that inspired you to enter the world of social service for people with disabilities of various types and serve them at large. So please reflect on how has been your experience of changing public perceptions and mindsets towards serving disabled community. And in your answer, we would also like to be enlightened upon what disability is and is not. So over to you, ma'am.
Well, I must say it's a pretty tough question to answer and perhaps a very long one. But to make it brief, I must say I was one of those very, very fortunate people who, despite my own disability, had the best of everything. Best in terms of parents, in friends, in work atmosphere, husband, family, everything. So much so that I have not at any point of time thought that I could not do something. No one has told me that I could not do something just because I had a disability. Therefore, it's just a question of refusing to take things at face value, asking questions, why it should be so, why it should not be so. In my time, way back then in 1996, 97, whenever I spoke about people with disabilities, no one understood really. People with disabilities were like beggars on the road. That's it. You give them a few rupees, or you see schools which say school for the deaf, school for the blind, school for the something or something. But where were all those fancy named schools? Why don't you give a nice name to a school, although the focus was on deaf people or blind children, whoever they may be? You don't say schools for, what do I say, non-disabled people. You don't say that. You give a name to a school. Why are they not giving a name to a school with disability? Why are you being typecast right from then? Why do the people always look at you? Put your disability first. Why don't they look at you as just, want to talk about children? You talk about a child who wants to do everything, run, play, be part of other children, everything else. Why is the child always taught to do what the child cannot do? And in the bargain, you forget what the child can do. There's so many complicated emotions come in here. I've always been a product of mainstream for the simple reason no one thought of putting me in a special school. No, there was nothing special about me. Nobody is special. Everybody is ordinary. Nobody is normal or abnormal. We are all people. We are children. We are youth. We are teenagers or whatever it may be. So it was questions like these. And when I came to the age when I took up a job, I found to my surprise, for example, you mentioned IGNOU. IGNOU being a government institution, there are grades, in government employment, you have grade A, B, C, D, etc. Well, I found to my surprise that there was just one other person apart from me who was in grade A. Why? Where are all the beautiful, intelligent people with disabilities? What gives a so-called normal person the sense of one-upmanship just because you have all your faculties intact? Which God says that you should have 5 fingers, you should have 2 legs or 2 eyes? We are all children of the same God. No matter what, the heart is in the right place for every one of us. We want to do the same things as what others of our age do. Questions like these, which made me resign from my last employment. Well, I could always go back to a job. At that time of resigning my job, I did not know what I was going to do. But I knew what I was not going to do. That's all. I knew what I should not do. Therefore, it was just emotional decision to begin Ability Foundation with no corpus, nothing. Just jump into the bandwagon, put together a couple of people among all the hundreds of people who believed in me. Just one or two really understood the language I spoke. At that time, there was not very many. I was mostly taken to be somebody of like rank or whatever you may call it. When you talk about equality or equal opportunities of people with disabilities, at that time there was no law, there was no Rights of People with Disabilities Act. It was just wanting to do what I wanted to do. Well, and now I started my chapter where I began Ability Foundation. Would you like me to go on with it or still talk about my past?
No, very, very thoughtful of you, ma'am. Definitely, we would like to know, like, what kind of, physical and cognitive support does your Ability Foundation provide, especially for the disabled community? And just
We,
for my own sake, I would like to know, does it also deal with autism? Yes, ma'am.
we don't give either physical or cognitive support. We believe that help comes at various levels: the physical level, the emotional level, the self-esteem level, the psychological level, social level. So therefore, Ability Foundation deals totally with the social aspects of a person with disability. We don't care whether a person can't see or can't hear or can't think like you. We don't care. We care about what the person must do, can do, should be doing along with others to live,
Great.
to love as a human being, a whole human being who needs to live a whole life. That's all we do. That's where we come in. I began Ability Foundation with a magazine. At that time, the main thing that struck me was absence of awareness, not awareness on the existence of a person with disability, but awareness on lack of knowledge on how to deal with them. Oh, poor thing, what can we do for them? There was only we and there was them. There was no us. I wanted to bring that to a collective us. And in India at that time, there were magazines and magazines on every subject under the sun. You have a magazine on politics, you have a magazine on cooking, you have a magazine on fashions, on sports, what have you. You have a magazine on every subject under the sun. But why? In a country where there were more than 70 million people with disabilities, and that is almost the population of a small country, why was there nothing available for them, about them? Where was all this? Don't tell me that all people with disabilities were poor. No, poverty is a separate issue. Disability is a separate issue. The two are not to be seen together. There are a lot of middle class people like you and me who want to know. On the one hand, we had professional journals, newsletters that tackled the issue of disability. Or on the other hand, you had a fancy magazine like maybe Femina or whatever, which brought up a story of a person with disability, blew up the story. Oh, Superman, oh, Superwoman, who has done things in spite of having. Why? Not every person with disability who achieves is a John Milton or whatever. What it takes is the right opportunities at the right time and the right frame of mind, an open mind to accept. That's one part. The other part is every human being, whether you like it or not, Professor Jha, every human being, if he or she lives long enough, will one day acquire a disability. With age, one may think less, or walk less, or hear less, or see less. Therefore, preparing society for people with disabilities is preparing society for every citizen of the country. The magazine, therefore, dealt with the optimist side of disability. The more I looked into it, the more I felt, well, people were aware of the problems of being disabled, but how many people were aware of the potential of a person with disability? Why our country, in a country like India, where there are enough and more problems to be saddled with, nobody wanted to take on additional problems. Therefore, my focus was to shift from problems to possibilities to potentials. Therefore, that has always been what we have been doing at Ability Foundation. Ability is not the opposite of disability. There is ability within the word disability. It's not the opposite. All these thoughts put together, we wanted to tell people to accept, to include. That's how we began. And the magazine, initially ridiculed, began to be accepted, began to be admired to the extent that the High Court of Madras in Chennai quoted from our magazine to give a promotion to a person with disability. To be quoted in the High Court Journal for us was beautiful. So things like that make people understand. You just make a person understand the right way. Makes all the difference. We are not here to change the whole world. We are here to do our bit as long as we can. So now we have multiplied to several activities. It may seem to you that we have a finger in every pie, whether it's employment or education or cinema or culture. We are everywhere. But there's only one main thing, that is inclusion. We go after inclusion everywhere.
Right.
Please do.
Yeah, I'm really so moved to listen to you, ma'am, because, so far, whatever I had read about what life is all about, I think today you have given a new insight. You have redefined what life is all about. So I think before talking to
There's
you today,
nothing like ableism.
yeah,
What gives any human being to feel that one has something that the other does not have? No. Nobody is superior. Just because you can hear and I can hear doesn't mean I'm any less a human being. Or you can see and I can. The idea is not to compare to human beings. Stop comparing people. Disability or non-disability doesn't matter. Anywhere in society, you stop comparing two people. You cannot expect a blind man to see. No. You cannot expect a deaf man to hear. No. So okay. So many other things. I'm sure a person with all the faculties intact also cannot do many things. You get my point?
Yes, ma'am. Well, so thoughtful of you, ma'am. And moving further, we would like to know, is Indian society adequately prepared to address various issues revolving around disability in terms of inculcating a better sense of inclusion, respect, duties, and rights? So if you find it's there, please reflect how. And if it's not there, why it's so? What kind of recommendation would you like to forward? So over to you, ma'am.
It's not just Indian society, it is society everywhere. I would say in India, we are in some ways better off because of the sense of family that prevails in India. But that said, as I said a few minutes ago, the heart is in the right place for everyone. When you talk, for example, when you talk to potential employers, we are always telling them, please give the opportunity to a well-qualified, skilled person in your company. We are not telling them to give job opportunity to a disabled person based on disability. Oh, poor man, please give him a job. No, we are telling him, give him a job. He happens to have a disability, yes, but he has the qualifications you need. Everyone cannot do everything. You can't teach a fish to fly. There are so many things. Therefore, a blind man will do many things, computers, software, whatever, as long as he has the necessary software in the system, that reasonable accommodation that is provided. A deaf man, whatever, person with autism, the world of disability is very wide. You just have to tap the potential and the qualification and the skill and give the job suited to that.
Right.
Similarly, in education, inclusive education does not mean putting a bunch of kids together. Inclusion, true inclusion means to take care of each one's requirement so that everyone gains. It has to be a win-win situation. If you have a deaf person in the classroom, you must have a sign language interpreter in the classroom. If you have a blind child in the classroom, today is a technological world. You have advanced technologically so beautifully. You have all the necessary things on a computer, and you don't write on the board. You also speak aloud whatever you are writing.
Right.
If you have a wheelchair user in the classroom, you don't say that the lab is on the second floor and you cannot climb up. Therefore, no admission. Bring the lab down. Therefore, you can participate. These are all mostly common sense. If there's a slow learner in the classroom, you adjust accordingly. Any classroom for that matter, forget people with disabilities. Any classroom has a bunch of bright kids and a bunch of not so bright kids. I'm sure you have come across that in your years of experience. It's a little more extension of that. Once you start thinking in a different way, with an open mind and explore possibilities, people will change. I'm confident and rather view the cup as half full than half empty. Even if not in my lifetime, I'm sure it will come after my lifetime. This will happen. For example, we do an international film festival, which is a biennial event. This film festival is always held in a mainstream theater, not in an auditorium or anywhere else. Mainstream multiplex, where there are many other movies also running, and every film screened is accessible. It has captions, it has audio description, everything else. So it's your right to enjoy a movie, and you want to enjoy a movie your way. That's what we do. So we have an employment wing, we have an education wing, we have a culture wing, we have a legal wing where we provide referral service for any discrimination on grounds of disability. So
talking to you is enlightening indeed. But then we have a time limit, although you have really reflected on various, aspects of life which require, attention of all the stakeholders. And I think today is not the right time to
Professor
discuss
Jha,
it at length. Yes. Yes, ma'am.
I am a person who cannot hear. You know that. When I meet you, I lip read you. Over here, online, which is what I asked you to put on the captions for me to read. It doesn't make any difference to me. I cannot speak on the phone, but I have hundreds of others who are ready to speak on the phone for me. Thank you very much for the help. That's the way I look at it.
Well, so, ma'am, well, we have a time limit, so we shall move to the last part of our interaction today, in which we normally ask our guests, to give a message of peace so that we could create a better species of human with better sense of harmony and coexistence. But in your case, I shall request you to get across a message for the people associated with disabilities for their holistic well-being. Over to you, ma'am.
People with disabilities, I would say, do not let yourself to be conditioned by what others say. Do not believe when somebody tells you that you cannot do something. You decide. Ultimately, a person with disability is not a fool. He or she knows what he or she cannot do. More important to know what you cannot do. So therefore, you know what you can do. Don't let others decide for you what you can or can't do. Think about it for yourself and find the right person. Ultimately, this humanitarian view is something that I believe in innately. Every human being, nobody is, I have not come across a single bad person in my life. I would rather believe in the positive side of you than the negative side of you. Ultimately, the heart works. I'm not good at giving messages, I'm sorry, but thank you.
Well, ma'am, we are immensely grateful to you for your kind presence with us today.
Thank you too.
And for your significant contributions to the disabled community. The jury of Life Express has announced an award for you, and the award is Life Express Icon of India Award. And for accepting this award, and for accepting this award, I, on behalf of my entire team and intellectual viewers, would like to congratulate you. Heartiest congratulations. God willing, we shall have another round of interaction in future too. For now, wishing you a happy and more meaningful time ahead. Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
LXP Icon of India Award is proudly presented to Jayshree Raveendran for her exemplary social service to mankind on 8th March 2025.
नमस्कार दोस्तों, हमेशा की तरह आज के IKS सेगमेंट में सबसे पहले हम एक ह्यूमन वैल्यू सीखेंगे और उसके बाद हम एक भारत के पारंपरिक मान्यता या ट्रेडिशनल बिलीफ के वैज्ञानिक कारण को भी समझेंगे। लेकिन पहले हम बात करेंगे ह्यूमन वैल्यू की। पिछला ह्यूमन वैल्यू जो हमने हिंदी अल्फ़ाबेट के जरिए सीखा था वो था प से परोपकार, और हिंदी का अगला लेटर या अक्षर है फ। अब आप सोच रहे होंगे कि फ से क्या हो सकता है, आप अनुमान लगाएं, लेकिन फ से जिस मानव मूल्य का मैंने चयन किया है वो है फूलो फलो। फूलो फलो आपने कई बार अपने बड़े बुजुर्गों के मुंह से आशीर्वाद के रूप में सुना होगा, खासकर जब हम उनके चरण स्पर्श करते हैं या जब हम उनसे आशीर्वाद लेते हैं। जैसे माँ अपने बच्चों को फूलों फलों का आशीर्वाद देती है, अध्यापक अपने छात्रों को भी फूलों फलों का आशीर्वाद देते हैं, समाज के बुजुर्ग नव दंपति को भी फूलों फलों का आशीर्वाद देते हैं। इस तरह के ब्लेसिंग्स या आशीर्वाद आपको मैं समझता हूं सभी समाज में देखने को मिलेगा। भारत में फूलों फलों is a kind of blessings which is given by elderly persons in society to the young lot especially. The literal meaning of this blessing is blossom like flowers and bear fruits. Now its philosophical meaning is to pray to God for having prosperity and long happiness. In other words, फूलों फलों means may God help you grow with prosperity and happiness. फूलों फलों basically एक मुहावरा है जिसका प्रयोग किसी के सफल होने या समृद्ध होने के लिए किया जाता है। तो कहने का भाव यहाँ ये है कि हम सबके प्रति उनकी सफलता, समृद्धि तथा खुशी की कामना करें, इससे हमारा भी कल्याण होगा। तो अब हम आगे बढ़ते हैं अपनी एक पारंपरिक मान्यता के वैज्ञानिक कारण की ओर, और इसके अंतर्गत आज हम समझेंगे मंत्र शक्ति का विज्ञान अकॉर्डिंग टू केवी सिंह। शब्दों के समूह विशेष के संयोजन का नाम मंत्र है। मंत्र संयोजित करते समय मंत्रों को बनाने वाले ऋषि एक एक अक्षर को बड़ी दक्षता से संयोजित करते थे। यही नहीं, मंत्र को समाज को देने से पहले वे उसका प्रयोग स्वयं पे करते थे और मंत्र सिद्धि के उपरांत ही वे मंत्र वेदों में स्थान पाते थे। ये वैदिक मंत्र कहलाते थे। वैदिक मंत्रों के अतिरिक्त और भी मंत्र हैं जो उतने ही महत्वपूर्ण हैं जितने कि वैदिक मंत्र। मंत्रों के आविष्कार करने वाले ऋषियों को मंत्र दृष्टा कहते थे। मंत्रों का विज्ञान ध्वनि, शाब्दिक शक्ति, साउंड एनर्जी जिसे आप कहते हैं, और वाक के सिद्धांत पर वो आधारित होते हैं। मंत्रों के शुद्ध उच्चारण से मनुष्य के विशेष अंगों पर प्रभाव पड़ता है, जिससे उसे ऐसी वांछित ऊर्जा प्राप्त होती है जो उसकी इच्छा पूर्ति कराने में सहायक होती है। मंत्र सिद्धि के लिए मनुष्य को एक निश्चित मात्रा और संख्या तक उच्चारण करना होता है। यही नहीं, मंत्र सिद्धि करते समय उस व्यक्ति को अपनी समस्त ऊर्जा को संजोकर रखना होता है। इसलिए मंत्र सिद्धि के दौरान ब्रह्मचर्य का पालन, भूमि शयन, क्रोध पर नियंत्रण, वाणी का संयमित उपयोग करना आवश्यक होता है। आज मनुष्य की जो जीवन शैली है उसमें क्या वह इन सब नियमों का पालन कर सकता है? मुझे नहीं लगता। और यही कारण है कि वो मंत्रों को ढकोसला बताते हैं या मानते हैं। दोष मंत्र विज्ञान का नहीं, उसे ठीक ढंग से ना करने का है। मंत्र शक्ति प्राप्त करना एक साधना है, एक तपस्या है जो आज के इस युग में संभव नहीं है। प्राचीन काल में लोगों के पास समय व संयम दोनों थे, पर आज नहीं, क्योंकि युग बदल गया है। दोष युग का है, मंत्र का नहीं। अमेरिका के डॉक्टर हावर्ड स्टेनगल ने गायत्री मंत्र पर अनुसंधान करके पाया कि गायत्री मंत्र के शुद्ध उच्चारण से वायु में प्रतिक्षण 1,10,000 लयबद्ध विद्युत धारा प्रवाहित होती है। इससे यही सिद्ध होता है कि मंत्रों में अवश्य ही विज्ञान है। मंत्रों द्वारा शब्द शक्ति से मनुष्य की आंतरिक ऊर्जा प्रवाहित होती है और वह सिद्धि को प्राप्त होता है। मंत्र में देन शक्ति का बीज छुपा होता है। जब कोई व्यक्ति मंत्र उच्चारण करता है तो उस मंत्र की ध्वनि देव शक्ति को प्रकट कर देती है। देव शक्ति के प्रकटीकरण से मनुष्य के दुख, आपदा, संकट व अन्य सभी बाधाएं दूर हो जाती हैं। मंत्र सिद्धि मनुष्य को ब्रह्मांड शक्ति से जोड़ देती है, जिसके कारण मनुष्य को प्रकृति से वह सब मिलने लगता है जो उसके हित में होता है। मंत्रों के विषय में एक और बात महत्वपूर्ण है कि हर मंत्र हर व्यक्ति को नहीं दिया जा सकता। अलग अलग मंत्र अलग अलग व्यक्तियों के लिए है, जो इस बात पर निर्भर करता है कि व्यक्ति का आध्यात्मिक स्तर क्या है। और आध्यात्मिक स्तर को जानने के लिए गुरु का योग्य होना जरूरी है। किसी व्यक्ति के आध्यात्मिक स्तर को जाने बिना मंत्र दीक्षा देने वाले गुरुओं के कारण ही हम आज के वैज्ञानिक दृष्टिकोण रखने वाले लोगों के उपहास का कारण बनते हैं। इसलिए दोष मंत्र का नहीं, देने वाले गुरुओं का है। पर ऐसे भी कुछ मंत्र हैं जिनका जाप सभी कर सकते हैं। जैसे कि गायत्री मंत्र। गायत्री मंत्र उनमें से एक है जिसकी साधना कोई भी व्यक्ति कर सकता है। फिर भी यदि कोई सिद्ध गुरु इस मंत्र की दीक्षा दे तो मंत्र प्राप्त करने वाले का आध्यात्मिक विकास अल्पकाल में ही संभव है, क्योंकि सिद्ध व्यक्ति द्वारा दिया मंत्र जल्दी सिद्ध हो जाता है। प्राचीन काल में जब किसी मंदिर या देवालय के लिए कोई देव प्रतिमा बनाई जाती थी तो उस प्रतिमा को बनाने वाला शिल्पकार उसे तराशते समय मौन रहकर मन ही मन उस देवी या देवता के मंत्र का उच्चारण करता रहता था। इस प्रकार मंत्र जाप से वह मूर्ति जागृत हो जाती थी। आयुर्वेद में भी जब किसी बीमार व्यक्ति के लिए कोई विशेष औषधि बनाई जाती थी तो भी मंत्र जाप किया जाता था। ऐसे ही जब किसी अंगूठी में कोई रत्न जरवाते थे तो उस अंगूठी के रत्न को मंत्रों द्वारा धारण या जागृत करते थे। ऐसे ही पौराणिक काल में युद्ध के समय जो बाण मंत्र पढ़कर छोड़े जाते थे वे उसी लक्ष्य पर लगते थे जिसका नाम लेकर उसे छोड़ा गया था। ऐसी थी मंत्र शक्ति। इन सभी प्रथाओं व धारणाओं के पीछे जो विज्ञान है वह यह कि मंत्र प्रकृति का सूक्ष्म तत्व है, जबकि प्रतिमा, औषधि व रत्न स्थूल। मंत्र जाप द्वारा हम सूक्ष्म को स्थित कर देते हैं, यही इसका विज्ञान है और यही है मंत्र शक्ति। आज के सत्र की समाप्ति मैं फिर एक आह्वान के साथ करूंगा, खासकर मैडम जयश्री रविंद्रन जी की बातचीत से निकले कुछ मुख्य अंश को लेकर। पता नहीं क्यों आज भी दिव्यांगता को समाज में एक अभिशाप या कलंक माना जाता है। जब भी मैं एबल लोगों की तुलना डिसेबल्ड लोगों से करता हूं तो मैं पाता हूं कि जो एबल हैं वे डिसेबल्ड से ज्यादा समाज के लिए दुख का कारण बन जाते हैं या बने हुए हैं आज भी। और याद रहे कि जो आज अपने को एबल समझते हैं वे भी कल डिसेबल्ड होंगे, उनका भी शरीर निष्क्रिय होगा, उनकी भी शारीरिक क्षमता बुढ़ापे के साथ साथ खत्म हो जाएगी। तो क्या आप कहोगे कि बुढ़ापा अभिशाप है? नहीं, नहीं मेरे दोस्त, अपने अंदर इंक्लूसिव फीलिंग्स लाओ। सभी हमारे ही परिवार और समाज के सदस्य हैं और ये सब तभी संभव होगा जब आपके अंदर आत्मीयता या जिसे आप एम्पैथी कहते हैं, जब उसका भाव आप अपने अंदर जागृत करोगे। तो मिलते हैं अगले एपिसोड में। टिल देन एंजॉय योर टाइम मीनिंगफुली और हाँ, अपना और अपनों का भी ख्याल रखें। जय हिंद।